Girl, you know it's true. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I love you. What is going on, Jeromes? Happy Tuesday out there, everyone. We are only 2 days away from the friggin' NFL draft. Just finally getting it on. It's going to be great. Lots to talk about today. We got your questions. You got Q's. We got A's. We got Chargers and new uniforms, which are tight. Tight, sexy as hell. And as well as we got the live chat going on. We already got Pretty Ricky Spielman, as well as apparently Jerry Jones just in there barking back and forth. It's a good time. But yeah, we're here 11 a.m. Central Time every single weekday, doing up about an hour of content. We got some Q&A. We'll do a mock draft. We'll do all that other stuff. We'll just hang out as the Rona just passes through. There you go. Like maybe that's one of the very few benefits of the Rona. Like, yeah, people have died. Yes, the economy's in shambles, but we have Livestream. Cool. But yeah, live chat. Thank you very much for making this part of your day. If you're watching on demand, you rock as well. If you want to support the work, support the channel, get yourself one of those purple sexy ass check marks. Hit that join box down below. Find out how you can become a monthly or platinum Jerome. Get all up on that. So, like we said, the Chargers uniforms, the new ones are tight. They're just really, really amazing. Where they've gone with the yellow face mask in the last couple of years, as well as they've gone more towards the powder blue, as well as the. I call this one navy. I call this one like darker blue. But yeah, I've always liked the Chargers uniforms. We just did up a whole video on that too, and I'm like, these are sexy. Like these are. We really like the Browns in that the fact that they went back to like the old school classic look, and I really like what the Chargers have done here as well. As they're really paying homage to the old school. As pull up a picture here. I'm just waiting for this picture to be pornography, and it's just like, oh, on live stream, cool. All right, so putting the numbers on the side of the helmet is just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Like I'm much more into like old school, just clean classic looks. Where even the the really dark navy one, where it looks futuristic, but it pays homage to when the Chargers were wearing those darker uniforms in late 80s, early 90s, the early LT years, Philip Rivers years, Drew Brees years, and man, that just looks really, really good. Actually, that angle doesn't. I mean, Keenan Allen right here just like looks great. Although Keenan Allen looked great in purple, but that's an argument for another day. All right, so we got some Q&A. Fire that thing up. Oh, by the way, I'm still like rip poop pissed about what's going on with Washington, where it's so just over the top cynical that exactly what they're doing. And we put out a video about this where I actually have a working theory that the Vikings are the only team that's actually in the Trent Williams like Derby sweepstakes, and Washington, leaking things out to Josina Anderson as well as John Keim, and just like, it's just. This time of year, it's such bull poopy season. You know what it is. And everything leaks for a reason. Like nothing just goes out there. It's like there's no Browns executive or Vikings executive or Jets executives, but just out of the goodness of their heart, just go to Josina Anderson or any reporter. Just like, here's exactly what we're doing in the draft. Like everything that comes out from the insiders should be taken with a massive grain of salt, especially Moose, by the way. I actually won't believe that the Vikings have traded a third-round pick to Washington for Trent Williams until Moose confirms. We need Moose on the scene. All right, so let's get into some Q&A. HouseGamer 15, do you think Derek Stingley out of LSU will be a top 3 pick whenever he declares? He may be. Dude is a legit shutdown cornerback. I really love him. I mean, honestly, if he was in this year's draft, I think he'd be up there with Akuda. Like, even though he's actually may even benefit him that he's a year younger. Something there. Rick Spielman, who is a monthly or platinum Jerome. So, Ricky's spending his money well. Logan Stenberg is someone I haven't heard much about. Is he a scheme fit? Yeah, to a degree. He is pretty underrated athletic wise. He's certainly not strong, but also just because an offensive lineman isn't strong doesn't mean that he automatically is going to be a zone blocking guy. I think he's just he's a fine athlete. He's a very good like lunch pail type interior offensive lineman. I don't think he necessarily will come in and be a starter anywhere, but I do put him in like the late day 2, early day 3-ish type range. Comes in, be a decent backup for a while. Maybe works his way into the starting lineup. But if you're like banking on be a week 1 starter, Ryan O'Sullivan. 49ers look to trade down. Maybe the Vikings sneak up to grab Thomas, Judy, or Henderson one time. Yeah, that'd be sexy. Let's look at the chart. So draft chart. We did a video on this. What haven't we done a video on? That's what I want to know. All right, so we did a video on the Vikings potentially trading up. I forget who the player was, but so looking at the Jimmy Johnson trade chart, San Francisco at 13, 1150. So if you put together 2258, 132, that's roughly going to be in the ballpark. Maybe you have to put in 201. All right, so a 1246 to get up to 13. Well, let's just break it down. So let's say 22, 58, and 132. So 124 to move up to 13 to get a Thomas. I would do for a Thomas. Judy, maybe less so because of the depth of the wide receiver class, even though he is still my wide receiver one in this class. Henderson is pretty damn legit. Man. I would definitely do it for Thomas. Probably not for Judy, maybe for Henderson. If we're doing like Mary F. Kill. Pulford Skull. Draft day trades, pick a package and stay at Y. Yannick Ngakoue and Keelan Cole for a third and fourth. Trent Williams and Haskins for Reef and Harris plus a fifth. Rosen and Devontae Parker for Harris and a third. Okay. All right, so Parker just got a new deal, and Ngakoue is going to want a new deal. I think Keelan Cole is still on his rookie deal. Trent Williams obviously want a new deal. All right, so it's either going to be B or C. Because either way, you got a decent first round rookie on a first round deal, on his rookie contract. I would probably take Williams and Haskins because you're giving up Reef, yes, you're giving up Harris, but you're only giving up a fifth round pick. So you have a quarterback on his rookie deal. Which could be 4 years, including if you're also including the his fifth year option. So you're good to go there. And also you get Trent Williams, top of the food chain, left tackle, get him for 3 to 4, maybe even 5 years. I would do that one. Ben Kelly, how would you feel about going straight LSU first round? Any combo of Jefferson, Fulton, or Chasen? If you had to pick, which two you're taking? So like we mentioned, we're a little bit cooler on Jefferson just because he's mainly a slot guy, as well as I don't know if he's going to be able to get off press in the NFL. So for me, if you went Chasen 22, Fulton 25, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad, even though we said our piece about drafting an edge rusher in the first round. Brian Yaz. I like your Super Bowl pick for this year. I have the same Super Bowl pick, Vikings Chiefs. Unfortunately, I have the Vikings Chiefs repeating. When, if ever, will the Vikings win a Super Bowl? Never. That's all. Matthew Thompson. Hey, Andy, love show. I remember in 2003 when the Vikings ran out of time in the first round, dropped 2 spots, but still got Kevin Williams. What are the odds that happens again? Maybe that's a good strategy. Well, yeah, the NFL did say that they are not... they're not pausing for technical issues or anything like that. But going back to 2003, so the Vikings, I think actually back-to-back years, the Vikings, just the time expired. So the Vikings were supposed to pick at 7 overall in 2003. So the fact that, Terrence Newman, I forgot he was a top 5 pick. So the 2003 draft, Carson Palmer, number 1 overall. The number 1 overall, Heisman Trophy winner, a bit of a one-year wonder under Pete Carroll. That's cool. Charles Rodgers, I mean, that was the stretch where the Lions were just groping, just trying to pick up a first-round wide receiver. Finally nailed it with Megatron, so maybe just keep swinging until you hit someone. Andre Johnson up there at 3 from the U. Dwayne Robertson was supposed to be a thing, supposed to be pretty legit, but that was a bust. So what did they give up? 13 and 22. So they gave up 2 first rounders and a 4th. So they got the Bears, the Bears gave up 4 and got 13, 22, and 116 back. Man, that's crazy. Terrence Newman, 5. John Sullivan, not the center. Talking about the defense tackle, Georgia. So the Vikings were up on the clock in 2003 at 7. And like, how does the clock expire twice on you? Because that's like 30 minutes back in the day. I think they got 15 minutes per pick. So the fact that two teams just like jumped up there it wasn't 30 minutes because the Jaguars like bam and the Panthers were like bam. But the fact that they still got Kevin Williams, it's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. Now maybe they're tossing back and forth. Hey, do we bring former St. Paul native Terrell Suggs back in? That'd be pretty damn sweet. But there you go. Next up is hey, come on. All right, next up is David Bryant. Just how good is Epinenza or Gross Matos? Because I mean, it's Chase Young and everyone else. Yeah, this edge class for me is relatively I would like Epinenza if the Vikings are dedicated to moving to that 3-4. I think would be a decent 5-tech 3-4 defensive end in that route. I do wonder about his edge capability. I don't think he's necessarily quick enough in the NFL. Gross Matos, where he's a plus athlete for sure, but also I think he's super raw. I think he is relatively undefined. He obviously would benefit from Andre Patterson, but I mean, there's a lot of just sort of wasted movement. A lot of show, not enough dough for him at Penn State. And because point to me at the game where he just like crushed it, right? Where just absolutely came in, just completely beasted, had 10 plus pressures and 3 sacks. It's not really there, right? So I would certainly love an edge project, except I don't really want one in the first round. But that's my take at that spot. Next up is Zach Hazlius. Bectonari had the character and the bust potential red flags. Does the failed drug test push him back into the second round? It might, but I think teams may just be so enamored by the metrics and the measurables and everything like that they're just like, you know what, mama, we can fix him. We can keep him motivated. We can keep him off the weed. We can keep him under 400 pounds, but he scares me a lot. He really does. And honestly, if the Vikings at 22, I would take Josh Jones and Ezra Cleveland over Becton at that point, as crazy as that sounds. J.D. Mack. If the Dolphins take Tua with their first pick, do you think a second and maybe even a third could get Josh Rosen in purple? I don't even think you have to give up that. Honestly, would the Dolphins give up Rosen for a fourth? I mean, I don't think there necessarily be a ton of demand around the league for it. So I may take a shot. I may just be like, all right, Dolphins, let's see what you got. How about a fourth? So it was a 132 for the chosen Rosen. They actually might get it done. Next up is Husky number 15. Who are your top 5 left tackles in the league? Well, Ronnie Stanley, put Tunsil up there. Tyron Smith still doing the damn thing. Let's see. I'll put Trent Williams up there if he actually got his ass off the couch. You know what? As weird as it may sound, Whitworth is still doing it. Actually, let's take a look. Who else do we put up there? See if we can get a list. Look up a little PFF numbers. Let's go. Riley Reef, just playing. But for me, like Andrew Thomas would come in and be a top 10 left tackle from day one. As absolutely bat bleep insane as that sounds, he really would do it for me. Yeah. So Matt Stanley. Oh, God. Do we have to put Bakhtiari up there? I guess. Certainly put Taron Armstead up there. And that is it. I refuse to name other names. Next up is Riley. Coyote. Check out Steven Montez. Looks like he could be a good option for later round quarterback. For me, like the entire round 6, round 7 quarterback is just like a whole morass of just guys that have some traits that you like. Montez is interesting, but also so are all of them. Brett Vuvuzelas. If we trade down and Mims and Rieger and Jefferson are gone, what receiver do you see us going with? Ayuk, if he's there. Higgins, if he's there. I like Hamler. I like Pittman a lot as well. So if the Vikings do break out on some of the, say top 40 wide receivers, are able to still get some nice little sugar from this great wide receiver class, I go that route. Stanley Maros. Have to choose one to start all 16 games this season at quarterback. Cousin retires. Right meow. So Josh Freeman, Christian Ponder, the corpse of Eli Manning, or Mike Glennon. Yeah. Man, that's rough. That one is pretty rough. I might choose Christian Ponder, where I still think that if Ponder wanted to, he could be a decent backup somewhere in this league. But, the fact that he got his money, his wife still makes a very nice living on ESPN, and he just seems to be having a good time being a dad, which, by the way, being a dad is awesome. It's just great. You can see why he's not in the league. Also, I think the Vikings fans just crushed him. Like, it was bad. Justified, but also it was bad. It was just really bad. Josh Freeman, I think, was mentally checked out years ago. Eli Manning is dead, and also Mike Lennon, no. So I would pick Ponder. Maddox Maloney. Which wide receiver would you trade up for, Judy, Lamb, or Ruggs? It would be Judy. We said this piece when we did the video about trading up. I would trade up for a receiver, but it wouldn't be far. Like, maybe 17, 18, 19. But it would be for Judy or maybe even Ruggs. I mean, Ruggs really intrigues the hell out of me. He's really grown on me. Haimo Kayukin. Hope the Vikings draft Marshawn Lynch's cousin, James. Oh, I get it, because James Lynch is a big old country white boy. Miles Benning. Would you take Ayuk, Rieger, or Higgins? I would go Rieger, Ayuk, Higgins. There you go. Porford Skull. I like your take on Ruiz. I think you're onto something, and the Vikings should draft him. Cut Pat, trade Reef for Trent Williams, and probably a late pick. Keep Harris, resign Griffin, draft some cornerbacks, and moving up to the big three wide receiver. Let's go. What's your take on all this happening? That would be a lot. Draft some cornerbacks, move up into the top 3 for a receiver. I mean, I wouldn't be upset about it. Also, I think Cesar Ruiz is really damn legit. I think he'd be a week 1, day 1 starting left guard for the Vikes. Mr. Popo. How'd you feel the Vikings got rid of their early picks and somehow got Watson and OBJ? It's O'Brien in one corner and the other one's Browns, anything possible. So, say the Vikings... Well, Cousins would be part of the trade too, theoretically. So the Vikings just say, screw it, whatever, the cap really is a myth. And so they gave up a first rounder for OBJ and Watson. So you come out with Watson, OBJ, 22 and 11 picks. I mean, yeah, I would do it. Seth B. Herman, Derek Carr of the Vikings after getting benched this year one time. No, Derek Carr is terrible. Ethan Griffith, is Bill O'Brien dumb enough to swap Deshaun for Kirk plus a couple of picks? He probably would, except I think ownership would just straight up fire him if he even entertained it. Superman GT, what's your take on Marquise Lee? I did a video on that. I would say fine, league minimum, nothing guaranteed. He's the 90th man on the roster. Screw it. Skull Vikings 33. Every year, there seems to be a surprise top 10 pick, such as Clelin Ferrell or Daniel Jones last year. Do you see any potential surprises in the top 10 this year? I would say maybe a safety is a surprise. Like maybe a team goes with Delpit. Like maybe the Jaguars at 9 just go Grant Delpit. Just like screw it. They screw you guys. Maybe like Josh Jones. All of a sudden he becomes the third tackle off the board. Say teams go with Wills and Wirfs, and then they just completely overthink Andrew Thomas and they just go with Josh Jones. All of a sudden he's in the top 10. Say the Browns have a need at tackle, and they could have Becton or Thomas or Jones. All of a sudden they just go Jones at 10. I'd be like, ooh, what is going on here? Shoot. Omar. Random quarantine thought, AJ Hawk is up there with Matthews as most punchable Packers faces. I would agree, but I actually liked AJ Hawk. Let's actually bring them up. AJ Hawk, Clay Matthews. Can we get a side-by-side? I mean, there's got to be, right? Oh, there's a good one. All right, so working to his side, to his side. So Clay Matthews, obviously very punchable. AJ Hawk, though, I actually like AJ Hawk, mainly because he wasn't as big of a douchebag as Clay Matthews. But, AJ, well, he looks like Vigo from Ghostbusters 2, so he's got that going for him. As well as I like him with Andrew Hawkins, the Hawk and Hawk podcast or whatever it is. So the fact that he's getting in the media now, getting in the game, I like that about him. But also screw Clay Matthews, but also I would sign him for the league minimum. Just a rush passer. Not talk at all. So just completely shut up. But, next up is Rohit. All right, I got this. Rohit Inampudi. I think I nailed it. Jalen Johnson or Hefe Gladney, Justin Jefferson or Denzel Mims. I would go Jalen over Gladney. It's really close. Honestly, it's 1A, 1AA. either one I like. I do like both of them over slightly before Christian Fulton. Justin Jefferson or Denzel Mims. Well, we talked about how we knocked Jefferson because of his slot prowess. Mims is a big gamble. I mean, he's got all the measurables. I do worry about him though. I would slight edge Mims, except I'm not excited about it. John Giggins, what position stopped Vikings from going further in the playoffs last season? Left tackle. Did you see the Niners game? Nick Bosa just like completely filleted Riley Reef alive. And what do you think we need to be genuine contenders with Kirky? Trent Williams, Andrew Thomas. Travis, in the 32-person first-round mock draft they put on YouTube, Vikings ended up with Gross Matos and Jalen Johnson. Thoughts? Love Jalen Johnson. Very meh on Gross Matos. Johan Carlson. Hey, from the old country. Where do we project all sons of former Vikings to be drafted? Would be cool. Winfield in second. Moss Reed on day 3. Let's see here. So I think Antoine Winfield's going to be in like the fringe first round, second round area. I think Thaddeus Moss is probably going to be late 4th, early 5th. And I think J.R. Reed is going to be 5th, 6th type round. So I think Thad Moss, J.R. Reed are going to be day 3 guys. I think Winfield Jr. is going to be top 40 for Shiz. There you go. Johnny Yang Fitness. Oh, also, let us know where you're watching from on the live stream. We'll give a couple of shout outs there. Johnny Yang Fitness. Who is in top 5 all-time favorite Vikings backup quarterback list? Ooh. So Kyle Jerome, Ezekiel Sluter would be 1. But Joe Webb 2. I mean, people forget about Joe Webb. Everyone was all hyped about Joe Webb. Blazer. Yeah. Other backup quarterbacks. I guess is like Rich Gannon count from back in the day. I was had a thing for Chad May. He backed up Warren Moon in like 94, 95, coming out of Kansas State. Because remember on Tecmo Super Bowl, I always sub out Moon and put Chad May in and just like lay waste on Tecmo Super Bowl. MBT, McClellan Bethel Thompson certainly have to be up there as well. MBT, the OG. DDG Snippets. How would you feel if the Vikings pick O-line and then cornerback in the first and go a receiver like Pittman or Chenault if available? Yeah. Be down. Aaron Rodgers, BFF, and Lover. You think Aaron Rodgers will have a great season against the Packers? Will have a great season against the Packers. I know he will. Sure. Gobble 92. Google 92. Which one of our picks is going to be the head scratcher? A la Jalen Holmes, Willie Beavers, Daniel Carlson. Watch him take Lecky Fodu in the second round. Just like I like him, except way in the mid rounds. They take Prince Tagovailoa at 25 again, which is someone I like, but that early, huh? What, huh? Next up is, do you think Kubiak's role as new OC has more of an impact on drafting offensive talent rather than defense? Yes. Jalen and Tyler Johnson or Jalen Rieger, Amik Robertson. Man, it's like, I would pick either. It's like whatever, 50-50. Either way, you get a top-tier feisty cornerback that I like. I love Jalen Rieger in terms of being an explosive receiver. Tyler Johnson is a technician at the position. And I'm either one I'd be very happy with. Tristan, I like Justin Jefferson or T. Higgins. Fell at 22. Would you draft them? Neither. Hitman Times. Are there any plug-and-play left guards in this draft, or are they later-round picks, 3rd and beyond for the Vikings backup position? Or should your quality backup? Well, it's not a great top-tier interior offensive line season this year. I think plug-and-play guys day 1. Cesar Ruiz would do the job. I think Jonah Jackson would step in, from left guard at Ohio State, come in left guard for the Minnesota Fine Vikings. Perfect for the scheme fit, as well as, by the way, like J.K. Dobbins. If the Vikings pick up J.K. Dobbins in like the 3rd round, I wouldn't be mad, because you go back and look at how much inside and outside zone Ohio State ran. I mean, there's a reason why we say that Jonah Jackson is the perfect scheme fit guard for this team. J.K. Dobbins would be the perfect scheme fit running back for this team as well. And Biadish could step into left guard. I think you could put Robert Hunt. Robert Hunt's more of a right guard, though. Yeah. I'll be same thing with Nathaniel Moody. Maybe he comes in and plug and play day 1 left guard. Yeah. Hitman Times. Oh, already answered that one. Oh, shout outs. So we got Isaac Rupright from Pickering, Ohio. Travis from Flake, Forest Lake, Skull. Guys who watch pretty much every day. Love you guys. Kyle Rippentrop, Lenox, South Dakota. Michael Converse, Quad Cities, Illinois. Quad City DJs. And we're riding the train. Come on, ride the train, ride it. See some other ones. There you go. Again, thank you guys. Watching HH from Hawaii. Juan Mexico, Brooklyn Park representing. That's right. Cyberbully123, watching from his mom's basement. Respect. Can't beat the rent or the home cooking. That was good. All right, next up is Cyberbully123. Which team is going to get cyberbullied after the draft for the Pixels and the Bengals? I think I asked that yesterday. Abza Abdi, thoughts on drafting D tackle in day 2? Yeah, like Matabuke, Jordan Elliott from Missouri. I like Ross Blacklock from TCU. Neville Gallimore from Oklahoma State. Oklahoma. The Ohio State defensive tackle name escapes me at the moment. But yeah, there's going to be some really decent early day 2 value on the defensive interior line. Henrik Byerlev. If we don't reach the NFC title game this year, do you think Captain Kirk will be our day 1 starter in 2021? How many more elite years does Thielen have left? Skull. I think Vikings could move on theoretically from Cousins next year. They would have to eat $40 million in cap, somewhere in there. Dead. I think the 2-year extension I think was basically a 1-year deal. As I burp, so I think Cousins will be here 2020 and 2021. How many more elite years does Thielen have left? Thielen does he turn 30 this year or is he 30? Let's find that out. All right, so Thielen turns 30 in August. I would say he has 5 years of being elite left. I think he will legit go down the Larry Fitzgerald type route where working from the slot, still has every route running trick in the book, still is able to get open in the middle of the field. I think he will go that route. Stanley Morris, would you rather keep Harris or get Trent Williams on a long-term deal? Trent Williams. Even though, Trent Williams is actually only like 15 months older than Anthony Harris. But yeah, I would go Trent Williams just because left tackle, free safety. Yeah. Hook set season. How do you feel about some of the late round cornerbacks? Michael Ojemudia from Iowa, Javelin Guerdy from Utah, for instance. I like Michael from Iowa. I think he is pretty decent as well as so Javelin. He's got the speed. I do worry about all the other tangibles about him though. But if you picked up Javelin as well as Jalen Johnson early on, bring in the Utah Utes cornerbacks, I mean you could do a lot worse. Almighty JD. If we took Winfield 25, how would you feel? Feel eyed about it. I really do like Antoine Winfield. Like if the team is completely sold about his ability to stay healthy, which best ability is availability. I mean, he could be that dynamic X factor on the back end. Can play both safety spots, can play slot, can do all that stuff, and just is tough as nails and is a ball hawk too. Love it. JD Mack, the quarterback from Mr. Deeds or Kirk Cousins? I don't remember Mr. Deeds that well. Like, was there a quarterback in there? No. Joel Kuhn? How far up the board could a package deal of one of our first-round picks and Anthony Harris get us? Which teams could be interested? What's your favorite condiment? Favorite condiment. Lately, it's been oyster sauce, but that might just be an Asian thing, where it's like this like viscous soy sauce based oyster flavored sauce, which is just really, really good. Think of it like Asian ketchup. I think that's a good way to go about it. Otherwise, what is my favorite condiment? Like homemade blue cheese sauce. Put that in everything. Like take some blue cheese, take a little bit of homemade mayo, take a little bit of, you can do like sour cream or like heavy cream in there. Just win the day. Does kimchi count as a condiment, or is that more of a side? I mean, it's close. It's certainly up there too. Or just mustard. All kinds of mustards. Can't really, like a horseradish mustard. Ooh, baby, come on. All right, so trading up. So first round pick, we'll say 22, just for ease of math, and Anthony Harris. So how far does that get the Vikings? Well, you think that his value would be roughly like a late second rounder, early third rounder, just for ease. We'll say he's a back end of the second rounder. So, well, we'll round up. We'll say 300 points. It's going to be his value. Could the Vikings get up? Dallas could be in the need for a safety. That's kind of it. I guess Miami could have a need. So you're potentially overshooting there. So say you give up 25 and say that Anthony Harris is worth roughly, we'll 280 for ease of math. So that's 1,100. No, it's 1,000. So 1,000. Dallas is 950. So take Dallas that, and plus Dallas is, I don't know, fifth round, fourth round pick. It's pretty close. Yeah, it's roughly in that range. See who else next. Ethan Griffin, what position did you play when you were on the field? I was a cornerback and a wide receiver. But now I'd be like a 3-tech. But of course, as you get old, we're all going to be 3-techs. Harvey Ziegler, just don't be a nose tackle. You may be a 3-tech. Have that dad bod. Or be a 5-tech. Don't be the 1-tech. Hayden Ziegler. Thoughts on KJ Hamler? I think he'd be a wide receiver 2 right away. Game breaking speed, lots of potential. The speed is legit. He's not on Ruggs' level. You do have more concern about the hands. Also, you have some durability concerns as well. But I think, yeah, if you miss out on Ruggs and you still are looking for that speed kills type receiver, I mean, you could do a lot worse than Hamler. DG. Any linebacker prospects, you got a twitch and an itch for to see in purple and gold for the Vikings, especially if there's talk moving to a 3-4 set. Well, Isaiah Simmons, does he count? Yeah. But we are going to talk about this probably tomorrow. I guess it kind of has to be tomorrow or Thursday. But if the Vikings go linebacker, so like say they go Kenneth Murray or Patrick Queen, but more likely Kenneth Murray. If the Vikings are moving to a 3-4, and then you have Bart, one of those outside linebacker spots, and then you put Kendricks as well as Queen or a Kenneth Murray in at the Mike and the Will. I mean, that's pretty damn sexy. Like if that could be the shocker for the Vikings. Like if they do have to stick and pick 22, 25 and Kenneth Murray is there, they just go linebacker. I was like, what? Then that'd be super clear sign that the Vikings are moving towards 3-4. More later round guys like Willie Gay Jr. really blew up the combine, except instinctually there's a lot to work on just in terms of him in pursuit angles and tracking the ball. Like he really does get washed out quite a bit, so that does concern me. Like he gets there fast, except then he takes bad angles to do so, but it's one of those spots. And Carter Coughlin could project to be a decent linebacker later on. Michael Devaney Jr. sort of in the same spot as Carter Coughlin. Like, is he an edge? Is he a linebacker? I don't really know. The Utah State kid, the name escapes right now. I like him a lot, though. Yeah. Next up is Stanley Moros. Would you rather keep Harris or get Trent Williams on? That come in twice. Converse user, is Daryl Mooney underrated? No, he's properly rated. John Giggins, Skull from Down Under. Can't wait to see your post-draft content. I feel like I've seen your 79 mock drafts and agree with you on most of the picks. Who will be our punt kick returner this year? Hughes worries me. Yeah, I think since Hughes is going to be a starter, I think he's going to be eased out of punt return duty. But I'm going to say punt returner is Davion Davis, and kick returner is Jalen Rieger. So figure that out as you may. Zach Ballas, have you watched I think he's trying to say Mr. Robot. Great show, same tiers, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. I watched the first season of Mr. Robot. It was phenomenal. I think Rami Malek, that's his name, was great. Christian Slater, just burking the game. So tangent. Wind Talkers is a great movie. It's quasi based on true story about the Navajo code talkers who served in the Pacific War with the Marines. Well, they were Marines, and it was just one of because the Japanese were very adept at breaking the Americans' codes. So the Americans brought in these Navajo wind talkers, and they were able to communicate over the radio, just a code that the Japanese just never could break. And it's a fictionalized story, but I mean it's peak Nicolas Cage. And one of the reason I brought this up, so Christian Slater's in this movie. And then he gets his head lopped off. Oh, They actually show it. Yeah, he gets his head lopped off by a samurai. It's pretty legit. Yeah. So there's Christian Slater. Oh yeah, Christian Slater and Mr. Robot. Yeah, it was a good show. I didn't watch season 2. Thought it sort of went off the rails. But actually, the wife and I, we have this issue a lot where we'll get really into a show for a season and then not show back up for season 2. Where that's happened to us with Man in the High Castle. Also, Mr. Robot, Stranger Things. Oh, and Patriot on Amazon, where is this really quirky. I should bring this up. It is this really quirky, fun sort of spy show, and dark humor, like really tongue-in-cheek, dry humor, which is my speed. And it was just a really good show. Season 1, season 2, I just could not get into for the life of me. There you go. JD Mack, diehard Vikings fan, currently stationed in Japan, but from Indiana, so I keep up with the Colts. Do you think people are sleeping on chat, Swag Kelly? Well, again, thank you for your service, JD. You're the man out there. Stay safe. But also all right, so like Chad Kelly's sort of like the Doral Green Beckham of quarterbacks, where it's like, this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year where I love Swag Kelly coming out of Ole Miss. I liked his moxie. I like all that stuff, last chance you. All of the whole everything, right? But I mean, he blew a really nice chance with the Broncos. He got to the Colts, and it's like whatever. I wouldn't bet on him, but I wouldn't bet against him, if that makes sense. He actually kind of reminds me a lot of, stylistically of Case Keenum, not like off the field. Kyle Rippentrop. What players do you think have ranked high for the Vikings in particular? Would you not be seeing Vikings fall in the Vikings' lap? Which ones do you besides see fall? Which players? All right, I'm trying to understand that. What players that you have ranked high for the Vikings in particular would you not be surprised to see fall in the Vikings' lap? Okay. Cleveland, I think stylistically, purely Ezra Cleveland. Say Cleveland, Jalen Johnson, Jeff Gladney, Hefe. Say Jonah Jackson, round 2. I wouldn't be shocked if the Vikings went that route. So there you go. Oh, Josh Jones too. Have you ever been Joe Sensors? Yeah. Joe Sensors back in the day. Pretty good spot. Cyberbully 123. If the Vikings do go to a 3-4, could you see them drafting an inside linebacker? Aha. Yeah. We talked about that one. But yeah, I could see Kenneth Murray falling at 22. And the Vikings just going. Eric Hansel, will you chug it for Loco if the Vikings draft Akuda? Yes, I will. If the Vikings somehow land cornerback 1 in this draft, I will do that. Nick Doroff, what do you think is the craziest trade you think the Vikings could pull off on draft day? Trent Williams for 105, and then they trade up, and who did they trade up for? Trade up for Isaiah Simmons. Say Isaiah Simmons falls out of top 8. Jacksonville, what up? Let's go get him. Husgamer 15, will there be a Vike Flair draft video? Yes, once I stop being so lazy. Producer Allie's bugging the crap out of me about it too. But Stinkman, I know this is an old topic, but my ideal Minnesota sports movie documentary would have to be the Cleveland Indians Major League style-based movie on the Love Boat era Vikings. Which players would you cast in this ensemble comedy? I would have to give that some thought. We'll circle back to that one after I fully cast the movie. Thomas Danielson. Just want to say thanks, Andy. Finally got back to work yesterday at Fort Snelling National Seminary. This podcast makes the situation a little brighter. You all help out and support it. Blessings. Thank you, Thomas. You're the man. Rock star. Thank you for coming along. Chris, do you think Isaiah Simmons is a jack of all trades but master of none and thus likely to follow the top 10? Someone similar to Jabril Peppers. No, he is way better than Jabril Peppers. I think he's even a better Miles Jack, but I think it's very unlikely that he'll follow the top 10. We're just like, where does he play? Don't care. Just have him play it. Just a phenomenal top-tier player. Scumbag Prime. Houston calls and offers Watson for Cousins, Daniil, and 25. They also eat Kirk's contract. Yeah or nay? Well, dead cap doesn't work like that. But no, I'm not moving Daniil. Mac, if Trey Waynes and Mac Alexander were put in this draft, where do you think they would go? At the current age or when they came in as a draft? I think teams would still be in love with Trey Waynes' speed. He would probably be in that Fulton, Gladney, Johnson second tier. Mack. The knock about Mack is that he's just a 5'10 cornerback, primarily playing on the outside, and the Vikings got him because I think he was just insane value in the second round. So I think that he would be in that Igbenegene, Bryce Hall, Cameron Dantzler-ish tier. I think he'd still be in there somewhere. Roselle Chavis. Vikings go Mims and Rieger first round. I don't see that happening. Offensive line second, cornerback, or cornerback safety third round. A good start at the draft. It's such a deep wide receiver class that I don't see them going 2 wide receivers. I can see maybe going 1 or even just passing out altogether. Abdi, have you ever pranked someone? Have you ever been pranked? Yes and yes. Mario Carmona. It might be a tough question, but in your opinion, who will be the top 5 quarterbacks by 2025? All right. So 2025, that's 4 years past the next rookie class. I would say Pat Mahomes 1, Trevor Lawrence 2, the corpse of Russell Wilson 3. No, I'm just lying. Deshaun Watson 3. Tom Brady. No, just kidding. It's a good question. I actually really believe in Sam Darnold. I do. I feel like he's got the huevos to be up there. Lamar Jackson, obviously. Although I do worry about Lamar Jackson's style. Like, will he still be the same running quarterback? Which is, I mean, he's a very solid thrower. He's very underrated. He's a lot better than a lot of the draft nicks we thought about him 2 years ago. But I mean, running is such a dynamic and deadly part of his game. But I mean, in 5 years, is that going to be still on the table? I mean, look at Cam Newton. Look at Big Ben too. Yeah, Lamar, and then we'll say Sam Darnold. Head coach. Shouldn't they make it where the 8 teams in the playoffs in every conference? That way no one gets a bye. I think you still have to leave a little bit of incentive for a team to go after that first or number 1 overall seed, because otherwise teams may just not care. Like, once they secure a playoff spot, like, whatever, they'll sit starters for weeks 15, 16, 17, and NFL doesn't want that. Also, I think 7, you are starting to water down teams. 8, that means half of the conference gets into the playoffs. Max Kallenberg, what is your most ideal outcome day 1 that's realistic? Ezra Cleveland and Jalen Johnson. It's not for everyone, but I think it would very suit for what the Vikings want to do. Stanley Moros, do you think the Vikings are most likely to Bengals it up and botch this draft and take a bunch of busts, or find enough talent to get them over the next 1 to 3 years? So the latter, especially with 12 picks, especially with 2 first-rounders. Rick Spielman, will you announce the 25th pick for the draft of the Vikings organization? And by you, I mean Vike Flair. Woo! Also, the Vikings are trying to Stan Kaiser Helm 14. What round can Thaddeus Moss follow us? 4 seems a little early at 132. 5th, if he makes it to 5th, I won't be mad at that at all. Liar 8702, biggest possible steal of this draft. Tyler Johnson. I'd say Tyler Johnson, maybe J.K. Dobbins, because I think running backs are going to take a tumble. I'd say Jalen Johnson. Jonah Jackson, specifically scheme fit for the Vikings. Isaiah Simmons, if he falls at all. Lastly, Abdi. Cook and 25 for the Jags, 20 and second round pick. There's reports of trying to trade Fournette. So pick up a second round pick and you move up 5 spots. I mean, yeah. All right, we'll do a mock draft and then we'll bang this thing. We'll get the heck out of here. All right, so we got the Vikings. We already ran the first couple picks. So now the Vikings are on the clock. Let's see what's happened so far. So off screen, but Burrows 1, Chase Young, Akuda, blah, blah, blah. Patrick Queen? Man, Patrick Queen early to the Cardinals at 8. Woo! Let's see where CJ Henderson goes. There you go. There goes the run on tackles. Becton even go. Wow. You're trusting Tom Brady's future with Mekhi Becton. I don't know, man. Jedrick Wills falls all the way to 18. What? Hefe Gladney early on. Christian Fulton. What is going on? So Delpit, Jones, Jordan Love, a lot of things going on here. Kenneth Murray. Actually, let's go down this weird rabbit hole. I mean, let's do it. So let's grab Kenneth Murray. There goes Gross Matos. There goes Justin Jefferson, and then let's really go nuts on this thing. All right, so we're gonna overdraft Ezra Cleveland, but don't care. So now you have a future quarterback of the defense, Kenneth Murray, just a dude who flies around, 3-down linebacker, just makes plays. Like him and Kendricks would be something in the middle there. Also, kind of makes Anthony Barr expendable, possibly. Plus Ezra Cleveland, they're chilling. Man, somehow Antoine Winfield makes it to 58, which the fact that you haven't addressed cornerback yet, but Winfield Jr. does sort of check the cornerback box as well. Definitely going with him. And it would be rude not to at that point, right? But now you haven't addressed wide receiver yet, but like we said, that would be okay if you did pass on that till the 3rd round, maybe 4th round. Then it gets pretty thin. All right, cornerback wise, Meek is still on board. Would not be. I would be more pissed if we miss out on a Meek in the spot, because I think there's a relatively big drop off after a Meek in terms of 3rd round. So we got Cleveland, you got Murray, you got Winfield. Still haven't dressed wide receiver. Edge-wise, could be good to go there. Could use a spot. So Lynn Bowden, I like. Mooney, I like. Duvernay, I like. Tyler Johnson, I like. Prochet, I obviously like. So I think you're okay there. So now you just go back to the board. Man, could go BPA. Jabari from Florida. There you go. Welcome on in. I'm feeling good, even though we went super weird on this draft. Shimona. Actually, we might package this one. Do a separate video for that. Could do that. I'm not above that. So wide receiver, still have not addressed that, but like we said, super deep class. Like you tell me you can get Tyler Johnson in the 4th round? Shoot. So already checked the boxes. You got your offensive lineman. Got cornerback help as well as you got safety help. Winfield being a hybrid there. Kenneth Murray, if you are moving to a 3-4, that does make a lot of sense. I got Jabari on the edge there. Let's go. All right, so now I really want James Prochet. Willing to pick him in the 5th round. Looks like the big board is going to play out that way, but also, actually, yeah, screw it. There you go. Into the 6th. Other positions. Would like some interior defensive line help. Would like some interior offensive line help for sure. I like Kevin Dotson a lot. I like Solomon Kinley. All of them go. It's like whatever for show. Kevin Dotson cannot make it. Interior defensive line. So Roquan is there chilling. Benito Jones. I think you got some decent value here. David Moa from Boise State if you want that backup nose tackle. Get him a little bit later on. John Penasini. Yeah, I always have pronounced that one correctly. Just a really solid defensive tackle, run stuffer from Utah. Him and Lecky Fodu. Like, what is up? See, didn't necessarily need to circle back on cornerback right now. Probably not. Already got the wide receivers. Looking at the big board one more time. Yeah, man, it would be nice to go after Hightower again. Lamar Jackson, if you're looking for, I don't really like him as a cornerback, just more if you're looking at for like the J-Ron Curse big nickel type role. Like Roquan is a little bit too much value to pass up here. So there you go. Now what to do? Could double back on edge. Could get another corner. Just not the big board altogether. I mean, is this a spot where running back, does that come into the picture? Certainly could. Let's see who's on the board. So Onola from TCU, DJ Dallas from the U, JJ Taylor is Dynamite, someone that we really like. Actually, no, it's our draft script. JJ Taylor, the absolute spark plug, the Darren Sproles of this draft. Come on in, baby. Let's go. All right, quarterback wise, go Huntley, go Mason Fine for sure. Could like Malcolm Perry. We'll get into why in a second. I think we may still pick him. Linebackers, looking at Orr, Brunson. Come on, Martin's still on board. Edge-wise, anyone home there? Trevon Hill, Michael Dana, Okay. Let's see, safety already checked. You triple back on cornerback. Dane Jackson is there. AJ Green is there. John Reed is there. Although they're probably going to be there as UDFAs as well. All right, so what to do? A lot of options here. Haven't circled back on interior offensive lineman. Trent Williams is there. Makes a lot of sense. Or do you just go with another tackle? Could go there too. Calvin Throckmorton, I like a lot. Actually, we're going to go with him. So I think he does have tackle flexibility in the NFL. Could easily kick inside as well. But, yeah, that's the only knock that I have on this draft so far is that didn't really double or triple down offensive line like he should have. Front side, Shackelford. Nah. I mean, Sean Pollard is there. We'll go Shackelford. And then we're going to pick up Malcolm Perry. There you go. So I really like Malcolm Perry. As a utility player, can be a returner, can be a wide receiver, can be a running back, can be like a Taysom Hill-ish quarterback as well. Coming out of the Naval Academy, was their triple option quarterback for a hot second. Trying to go the Keenan Reynolds route here in the NFL. But overall, it would be surprising if they went linebacker in the first round, but also I would understand it. I would respect it. And man, Kenneth Murray just coming in that defense. If they are moving to a 3-4, makes a ton of sense. Ezra Cleveland, stud, perfect scheme fit on the zone scheme. So there you go. Antoine Winfield Jr. falls in the second round. Ooh, be rude to pass him up. You got safety and cornerback help. Amik Robertson. Again, at a certain point, we're just getting our guys, right? So Amik Robertson at 89, Jabari from Florida coming in on as the edge project for Andre Patterson, Tyler Johnson, James Brochet, doubling them down. And yeah, the knock on this draft twofold. One, didn't double back on offensive line early on, as well as waited till the fourth round to get wide receiver. But you're telling me you get Tyler Johnson, James Brochet day one, or excuse me, come in and contribute day one on the Vikings week one. Rokon Williams, interior defensive lineman from Michigan State. I think it was just too much value pass up at that point, as well as J.J. Taylor, Dynamite. Again, a little bit higher than maybe expected, but getting our guy in the sixth round. Circle back on offensive line, double down Shackelford on the interior, as well as Calvin Throckmorton from Oregon, a guy that I really like as both as a tackle, guard. Basically, play him at four spots. Actually, did he play at center too? A little bit, maybe. Either way, I love the positional flexibility. Getting a utility backup offensive lineman, maybe a little bit more in the seventh round is great, as well as Malcolm Perry that we talked about. And that is it. I'm pretty much in love with this mock draft. I'm in love with you guys too. You are the best. We'll check it back on the live stream tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time. Thank you, Jeromes, for coming along. You know what to do. Subscribe for Daily Vikings Takes. Venmo, do all that stuff. Skull, production value.